Todd, I'm just wondering from a perspective of not so much on the game tonight, but Battle of Alberta, what's the most intense rivalry you've ever been a part of in any level of hockey? Something stand out for you?
Wow, that's a good question. Every level has their own rivalries. You can go back to bantam hockey, probably exists here in Edmonton. One area versus the other. I thought we had that when I played minor hockey. Major, junior, Saskatoon, Regina, Saskatoon, Prince Albert was always a big rivalry when you played. But at the National Hockey League level, the original six when I was in Detroit always seemed to ramp things up a little bit. St. Louis, Chicago, those types of rivalries. California was always LA, Anaheim. But this is two Canadian teams, Hockey Central, with very rich past in both organizations. Both teams have won cups in the past. Both teams competed against each other for many, many years just for the right to go on in the next round and play. The number of Hall of Fame players that have come through both organizations. I think there's such a rich tradition in this rivalry. It's a special game tonight, I think, to play that last game against the Flames in this old building, and both teams, I'm sure, are going to play hard and respect that. That's the case.
Where do you see this rivalry in 2-3 years, Oilers Place?
Well, I think both organizations hope that it has a chance to expand and heat up and grow, and we're both somewhat in the infancy stage of developing that as far as players and trying to get to where we want to go. Calgary had a bit of a taste of it last year. We haven't had that experience, but as we continue to stock young players and try and grow our teams, the age of the star players match up very well for a future of real good hockey and a very competitive rivalry. It's at its infancy stage. It's when the Gretzky era existed and the Poplinski, that type of era existed. They were at the same age and they really competed and battled, and then it kind of dwindled a little bit, and now we're trying to rebuild that, both teams.
Todd, is the significance of tonight's game something that you have to relay to your players, or is it something you even acknowledge prior to the game? Or
well, we won't. Our staff won't go there. We won't. It's Calgary, so our team understands that those are important games all the time, and the rivalry exists. They are well aware of the wrap up of the building. There's a number of functions that are planned, and they're part of it, so they know what's coming. So I'm not going to stand in front of the group and say, "Hey guys, this is the last time we play against Calgary in this building. Let's play hard." One, I expect them to do that without me prompting. And two, I think they understand it.
What's your number one concern coming off? Because to me, this is even different than the All-Star break, because other teams eventually.
Yeah, it's.
But you're kind of like a football team this week, one day and not
Yeah,
all week.
it's interesting. We whined and bitched about not having it, and now we're talking about having it. So we had a rhythm going. Every second night for a month and a half, we had that rhythm. We were able to rest. We were able to get a couple players healthy, or at least healthy enough to play. We had two really good practices. How will we start? Will we be rusty? I hope not. I don't think there's any reason why we should be. And it's not a lot different. I think this is a good approach for us, because if you happen to be lucky in the playoffs and win early and wait for another team to play, you're usually taking 4 or 5 days off, and you've got to be ready to play again. And we're trying to create those moments, I guess, without being in the playoffs.
How did you ever, in any moment this season, have the team that you imagined on September 1st together in the lineup at one time?
No. No.
Is it hard then to evaluate, in a year where it hasn't really gone the way you want?
It is.
How good you can be not having all of those. I mean,
Well,
everybody is injured. I get that.
we get some real good evaluation. Evaluation goes beyond just the ice and the interaction of players. There's how they behave around their teammates, how they interact at the rink, their practice habits, their ability to comprehend and apply tactics and that type of stuff. So we've been able to see individuals do that, and we have our opinion on, the upper end and the lower end of that. But to put the band together and put it on stage and see how well they can, what tune they can come up with. We haven't had that chance. It's just the way it's happened for us with injuries, and I don't even know if we've been close. Right from day 1 to day 80 now, we haven't been close.
I know you've got a few games to go. Are you starting to see a change in the culture here when you look back at your first year?
There are some things that we thought we needed to do when we arrived, the staff, management, coaches, and we pushed that button all year, and I think the players have responded. I went home yesterday after practice, and my wife said, "How was practice?" I said, "You know what? They continue to work hard. They continue to give us what they have." That's the last few days are the days where they would mail it in if they were going to mail it in. So I'm impressed that they have sustained it and are still willing to buy into it when it would be easy to fold their hands, and that was the approach that we've taken. There's been many nights where we've been in games a lot longer than we have in the past. We played an astronomical number of one-goal games, and I include the empty netters for or against, wins and losses. I think we're almost at 50 now. So we've been in a lot of games where I think that's cultural change, but there's still some work that needs to be done.
Thank you. Todd, sorry, I just wanted to ask you about what you remember about this rivalry growing up and watching it. And I apologize if this was asked before.
No, it's okay. Heated, skilled, competitive, passionate, a lot of different adjectives. I was talking to the group here before about the players, the Hall of Fame players that were leading that rivalry. They matched ages very well back in the Gretzky era, and goaltender for goaltender, and dominant defenseman Al McGinnis and Paul Coffey and those type of guys. You had dominant forwards. Coming out of that division, you had to go through Calgary, you had to go through Edmonton, and they were that good, and it was fun to watch. It made it hard when you were a kid to pick your playoff pool because you didn't know if Edmonton or Calgary was going to win, but you knew one of them was probably going to get to the finals, so you were either in or out after the first round.
Being from Saskatchewan, you're an Oilers fan or a Calgary fan?
I was a hockey fan.
Great answer.
Way more Oiler though.